9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Well, I've kind of sucked on my picks, but I can pick this right. Oh, baby. It's going to be a great show today. That's my prediction. Scruffy is with us. We got a lot of hot topics to get to. The weather's hot around here. Jamie Heward will be joining us in hour 2 from the Henderson Silver Knights of the American Hockey League and Country Thunder, because it's that week. The biggest party this summer is here. And the party starter of them all, Scruffy, is here. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the warm-up brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel. My attention is split in 2 directions, Scruffy, for the big story. CFL Week 5, which we'll get to right away, and quite frankly, World Cup and the Trump stuff. And my guess, yours might not even be either one. What's your big story on this Monday, brand new week?
Well, those are certainly the top 2. It's never good to see the CFL lose one of its top players to injury, and that's what happened with Bo Levi Mitchell yesterday. And the gelatinous blob that lives on Pennsylvania Avenue has ruined the World Cup.
You think he's ruined it?
Yep. He's taken all the credibility away from it.
Well, I'm not saying you're wrong.
Like,
okay.
What a crock. Like, you just...
Okay, well, that's point 1. Let me
this
just stop.
guy
Okay.
Everything he touches.
Well, here's the interesting thing. Listen, everybody, calm down. We're going to get to CFL Week 5 because, as Scruffy said, it's just, well, in our world, just as big a deal. But USA, Belgium tonight. And I don't even know how to say the guy's name. Am I Fullerin? Balogun? Is that his? Balogun, the leading scorer for USA. Yep. Okay, so he was suspended for tonight's game. President Trump called the president of FIFA and said, whatever he said, he got the suspension overturned. Can I just say this? This morning in USA Today, which I read every day. Not many newspapers I read every day, but that's one. And they said, even if America wins this game tonight against Belgium, they'll lose because Trump tainted it. And I'm like, I don't think the players legitimately care. I don't think they care. You agree with that, writer?
You know what? I think that much like the American hockey players and the abuse that they took after the gold medal win in Milan, I think this is going to be something that haunts them.
Oh, it may be, but I my mind immediately went to the 2007 Grey Cup, and you were around that whole scene. Do you think we care that we won because Kevin Glenn couldn't play because of a broken arm? We didn't care. We didn't even think about it.
No,
and I don't think the USA.
No, you're right, and it's what you play with on the field. But it wasn't a case where this is different because Kevin Glenn was injured. This guy is suspended, and all of a sudden, no, he's not. We're going to let you have your best player. Like, Sorry, kids.
The coverage has just been fantastic. It's going to make you. Would you have been watching the game?
Absolutely, and there's no doubt. If you are, and I've been watching a lot of it. If you are in the U.S., this is a great move because it doesn't matter. It's just winning is all that matters. And around the rest of the world, I think that there is a global desire to see Belgium win tonight and win in convincing fashion. And Roddy,
sure, and then
you know me.
Yeah, and then none of it matters.
Roddy, you know me. When there are games in Seattle at Lumen Field, I generally cheer for the home team. Not tonight.
You're cheering for Belgium. Cheering for Belgium tonight. Okay, good. Well, and I'll tell you this. Number one, great comment has come in from Carlos in Indiana, who loves us and loves this show, and he makes the point of this. He says, does this mean that Mark Carney, the Canadian Prime Minister, can call Stu Joe and get a few CFL decisions overturned? Well, that's kind of the parallel. He's not wrong, but I'll just say this. I was in my hometown on Saturday. This everybody just get settled in. Just fill up your coffee. We're not in a rush here with Scruffy. Went to my hometown, Milestone, Saskatchewan. Yours is Indian Head, Saskatchewan. During the Canadian soccer game, Mitch, just so you know, in the co-op, the game was not on the television. CTV News Channel was. The game was not on the radio. Dolly Parton was on the stereo. The coffee was hot, and I was like, God bless these people. Nothing's changed. It's still 1985. Yeah, and I would assume Indian Head's the same way, like the World Cup not going over real big in our hometowns.
You know what? The last time I was there, and I was in the Wooden Nickel Saloon. What a great name for a rural Saskatchewan bar. I was there to have some lunch. The World Cup was on. But to be fair, usually the TVs in the bar, they're on two channels. One is on TSN, one is on Sportsnet.
Oh, there's no doubt. But this was just a local gas station.
I think it was just like it's on, but
nobody's watching. That sounds like a good country song. It's on, but nobody's watching. Okay, so there's all of that. We get great. Well, let me just read the comments from the viewers as we roll. Utah Darren writes in and says, I'm not sure how much a phone call had on the decision to lift the suspension, but I know credit will be claimed, deserved or not. Jason in Red Deer writes in, he says, obviously the big story in Canada right now is Bo Levi. We don't care about World Cup now that Canada's out. That also is fair. And Mitch, that was the first thing Mitch said, to Bo Levi Mitchell is out. Have they said exactly what it is? Bro, is it broken ankle? Hamilton Tigers quarterback?
I would assume so. I still haven't seen the play, Rod, because I didn't see the game yesterday. I knew it had happened. I was sitting at Curry Field sweating, doing a couple of ball games. By the way, your Moose Jaw team looks really, really good. And
I know, right?
If you ask a couple of players about the home plate umpire in the second game, you might want to make sure that the comments are sanitized. Because, wow. But, I didn't see it. I haven't seen the play. Everybody that I have talked to and, seen on social media, it sounds like it was a broken ankle. And one of my buddies who was watching it says you could see that it was broken when he went to grasp at his ankle after the hit, which apparently was a clean hit.
Yeah. And I thought the one on Zach Caleros was high, the one that knocked him out of the game, and I don't know why that wasn't flagged, but whatever. We've got a lot to get to today. Everybody is just settling in, so as I say, top up your coffee. We do have the text line working. There was a carrier outage last week. I don't know what that even means, but it's open now, 902-518-33. You can write us there. It is brought to you, as always, by our friends at Western Dodge. Drive with confidence. Financing, selection, and service you can count on Western Dodge. When we come back, we've got CFL Week 5 to get to. More World Cup if you are into that. Leo Carlson in the offer sheet. Apparently the Wingman podcast hosted by the Kachucks has caused a lot of problems, Mitch. We're going to get into that. Funny how independent media might cause problems. George Springer coming back to the Jays today. I got some NFL stuff for you. A whole hell of a lot. So We'll be right back. Get comfortable. Again, the text line 902-518-3033. Fill up the YouTube chat. Scruffy and I continue right after this on the RP Show.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Dipping back in, quick text, 902-518-3033. Noni in Calgary says, hi, Rod. Bo's injury messed with my pool pick, as I assume he'll be done for the remainder of the season. I feel bad for him as he was rolling, but it makes the season very interesting. Wayne in BC says, good morning, Rod and Scruffy. I felt bad for Bo Levi. It was a brutal injury. The CFL needs all their top quarterbacks playing games. And Sean in Vernon, BC writes that he says, Scruffy's BC Lions are on the board. I don't think they're Scruffy's BC Lions, but whatevs. So everybody's into it. It's hour one. Canadian Hour CFL talk is our thing. I do want to get to the Blue Jays, as I said, in the NHL. Any other week 5 stuff aside from you didn't watch the game last night, and that's the thing. What's great for what Scruffy and I do in the WCBL, we do the home games only. It's a good schedule, right, Mitch? I wouldn't want to go on the road. You miss enough. Like I missed the Ryder game Friday night because we were at home. So you missed that game last night. But you heard. Bo Levi goes down. Zach Collaros comes down. So all of a sudden, it's Trey Ford, Canadian quarterback for Hamilton, versus Taylor Ogersma, Canadian quarterback for Winnipeg. Amazing story there. But Trey Ford, man, I'm just going to say this. Don't go all political on me, everybody, because I said it to Joe. He's like, I said, Trey Ford's like Justin Trudeau. He's just not ready. And Joe's like, oh, don't say that. You're going to get canceled. I'm like, oh, it's just for fun. Trey Ford's just not ready. And I'm wondering if he's ever going to be ready. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw his numbers. I think he's got, obviously, a nice guy to learn from in both Bo Levi Mitchell and Scott Milanovich. But there needs to be a huge learning curve for him to get to be an established starter. And I don't know where Hamilton goes now when it comes to finding a quarterback. Is Taylor Powell still out there, or is he with another team
I don't know.
I don't know about?
But I'm gonna tell everybody. Sorry, to go follow John Murphy. Murph's got a bunch of names. Yeah, Murph talked about it on his Twitter this morning. Continue. Sorry.
Here's the other one. Whatever happened to Tua Tagovailoa's brother? That played for Hamilton last year.
They had him and he cut him. They cut him.
Disappeared. They did?
Right. Well, yeah, he's gone. Yeah. So, if I may, like I say, it's Draft JM13, I think is Murph's Twitter, and he had that on there, some of the names, but it's like Ottawa went and got McLeod Bethel Thompson. There's not a lot of guys around Mitch capable of winning games. Like, is Hamilton's season done here? Is that what we're saying today?
Right now, it doesn't look good, but who do they bring in? And I just don't know who is out there. And I'll have to take a look and see what Murph has put out there. But, the two names that come to mind, and I don't even know if they're on a CFL roster, are Taylor Powell and Taylor Cornelius.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you bring up Trey Ford. Yesterday, at the ball game, somebody showed me a tweet that said that Bo Levi was hurt and was probably broken his ankle. And we sat there for a couple of minutes and went, who's the backup in Hamilton? And then it was like, oh yeah, he still exists.
And Jake Delgado. Well, we can't forget Jake's there too. But from the audience, everybody's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed today, ready to talk sports. Brent from the Bridge City says Jake Ceresna was the Winnipeg player who tackled him. He looked worried afterwards about Bo. He did. He's like, oh, my God. And he didn't mean to do it, which, by the way, I should mention Jake Ceresna's been added along with Willie Jefferson to the CFLPA cruise with Uniglobe Carefree Travel departing out of Fort Lauderdale on February 20th. It's in February, along with Adam Bighill and Jameer Thurman. Contact Neil Chark at Uniglobe Carefree Action Travel in Vancouver.
Are you going on that trip?
No, but I'm there, so I might end up on it. I don't know. Mitch, you know me well. One day at a time, bro. I'm trying to get through this week, let alone knowing what I'm doing in February.
I'd be afraid for you on a cruise.
You've never been on a cruise? Now would be the safest time of my life to probably do that. I almost died on the Casino Queen gambling riverboat in St. Louis at the 1996 NHL draft. Yeah. Ken in Mississauga should be. It'd be one of the chapters. I was with Rich Preston. He was looking after me. Ken in Mississauga writes, and he says both games in Kelowna look great on TV when only scaffolding. Everyone stays in their seats. Here's the funny thing about it. I haven't talked to you since Tuesday, which, by the way, I think we're in line for a coffee or a lunch this week. I'll come to you, Mitch. But the attendance in Kelowna was 19,000 and change, and it looked amazing. The attendance in Calgary for the Stampede Bowl was 19,100, and everybody's crapping all over it. It's the same crowd number. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I don't even know what that means necessarily.
Well, I guess when you look at things, and you take a look at where the Stampeders used to be and where they are now, And it's funny, I happened to read one of your columns, and somebody said that, the media in Calgary didn't even promote the Stampede Bowl. At least one of the TV stations there.
CTV Calgary is a pretty big deal. I would think they didn't even mention it.
Well, it is, and it just takes me back to the media and the lack of coverage in local markets is hurting the CFL. And
big time.
It happens here. It's obviously happening in Calgary. I don't watch other CTV affiliates, but I'm guessing if they're doing it in Calgary, you and I know the days, Rod, where every media outlet was at a practice and you would go off your separate ways, and News Talk would have their own story and a dedicated sports cast. CTV would have their stories with a dedicated sports cast. The Leader Post would have 2 or 3 stories. You just don't see that anymore. And if you're not going to have, and I don't want to throw the CTV morning show in Regina under the bus because there were a lot of good people there, but there's no rhyme or reason as to when they're going to put a rider report on. Some days I don't even know if they go to practice anymore.
Well, let me just stop for a sec, because I know. I would rather talk about the games than the media, but I will say this. When I went to Arizona, you're talking about like the good old days when there was a lot of media covering the CFL team here. When I first really got around the NHL was when Gary Drummond owned the Coyotes, and I was there all the time. I was like, oh my God, there's like 2 people at Coyotes practice. We have 10 times that with a CFL team. But now it's like 2 people covering the Rough Riders. So you get it, I get it. We've been in the media our whole life. I don't think the fans or the leagues understand how much the media carries your banner for you, but they don't care. They've never cared, and now here we are, and they're sitting there wondering what the hell's going on. But that same Ken in Mississauga writes in, he says, John Murphy sure was right about Matthew Sexton on your show last week. Did you watch the Rider game Friday night? Because it's all I've heard since Friday night is the 100-yard punt return, for good reason, 101-yard punt return touchdown by Matthew Sexton for Saskatchewan, who won the game. Have you looked into this kid's background? Was he wearing 86 for the Riders? 86.
Yeah, they talked about him at training camp. He was a guy that turned some heads at camp, and it was a guy that, a lot of people said they were happy to see him stick on the practice roster because they thought he had potential. He may have gotten thrown into the lineup before he was ready, but he certainly showed with that 1 punt return that he can play this game. Although, let's be honest, Rod, if it wasn't for what had to be one of the worst tackle attempts in recent memory, Matthew Sexton would not have scored on that play. Like Paul McCallum, that was Paul McCallum-esque, that effort that the Ottawa punter had in that tackle. That was Junior Murtile at its best.
Either way, maybe he'd been told not to. I got to ask Reinbold about it. You telling your punter to get out of the way? Terry, hang on. Oh, the comments are going crazy here, which is great. I looked up the Matthew Sexton story. He's spent significant time in the NFL, and I think people should understand. Mitch knows this, but even though you didn't necessarily get on the roster a lot in the NFL, if you're on the practice roster, all the reps you're getting in practice with the best players in the world rubs off. So Sexton's from Clinton, Michigan. He's all that. Did you know he signed with Ottawa in February and was cut like a month later? Like they could have had him. And there he is lighting it up.
Ottawa? Because I thought somebody said it was Toronto, but it was Ottawa?
According to his Wikipedia. It was on the internet, Mitch.
Okay.
That's never wrong,
that's fine.
as you know.
Okay.
It's on the internet. It's got to be true. Terry from Calgary writes, and he says, TSN broadcasts the CFL games, yet its daily sports talk shows virtually never mention the league. That's odd. It's also not new. AJ in North Battleford writes, he says, Sexton's punt return was beautiful, but that punter's tackle was Bush League. So the Sexton punt return for the touchdown's a big story. Bo Levi's injury, a big story. The Stampede Bowl, 58 points, 7 touchdowns engineered by Vernon Adams Jr. You and I picked Toronto to win that game. what's his name? Strebler picked Toronto to win. Everybody thought Toronto was going to go in there. And Calgary motorboated him, Mitch. What other things stuck out
Calgary
in week 5?
would win that game just for the fact it was the Thursday night game and short week for Toronto, traveling back and forth across, coming back to Western Canada, going back home, coming back out west again, whereas the Stampeders, short week for them, but they were just in Kelowna. So it's not as big a deal. But I thought they would. I thought the Stampeders would win that game. I was 2-2 this week. I just Calgary, give them all the credit in the world for that game. I'm still not sold on the Stampeders in the West, but that was a big statement win for them. So,
well, it's funny, by the way. I was talking to Murph on this show about it last week. Ottawa, or the CFL, was making a big deal out of the fact there were 3 or 4 former Rough Riders now playing for the Red Blacks. This was their first game against their old team. I'm like, that doesn't even matter anymore. You remember back in the day, Mitch, of the 90s, 2000s, we built up a huge deal if a guy was going up against his old team, and it was a huge deal. But I'll tell you, which wasn't built up at all, was Vernon Adams playing the BC Lions in Cologne and touchdown Kelowna 1, and he kicked their ass. Nobody, and then and coming out of the game, nobody cared about it. How do you think it felt for VA? Because that guy is playing with a chip on his shoulder. He's a different guy now.
Oh, he is. But
yeah,
we talk about that. Like in this league, like how many quarterbacks play with different teams? In a
all of them.
League, like how many do we get?
All
like
of
we're
them.
not going to get any Kevin Glenn stories here, but how many?
No, but that had to be a big deal for VA to play BC after being shown the door. And to beat the guy.
I would think it would. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And it was the first time that Vernon Adams had beaten the BC Lions in his career. And how many teams has VA played for now? 4? BC,
Sask,
Riders,
Montreal. Probably a few we're forgetting about. Yeah, at least 4.
So, it was a big deal for him to finally do that. And good for him. And now, and I didn't see all of the Edmonton BC game, but obviously it looks like BC has their act together. They obviously, their defense, which has been much maligned, 3 picks on Cody. They held Justin Rankin to 20 yards. So their defense, obviously, which was the Achilles heel for them, has picked it up. So now are we going to see the BC Lions become the team that everybody thought they were going to be, or was that just a blip on the radar?
Well, they're at least a football team now, BC. I wrote in my column this morning that normally by now we're getting some separation, but what's happening this year is teams are getting smushed together. Edmonton, Sask atop the West at 3-1. A lot of teams are 2-2, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Nobody's running away with it other than Ottawa falling out of it pretty much altogether. So we still got hockey to get to and some baseball and more on the CFL. Scruffy's with me. Jamie Heward coming up in hour 2. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Dean Brody and the Reckloss teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work, you know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else. I can't help myself.
2 of Canada's biggest country acts. One stage, one unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour. Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. First hour brought to you by Suds Car Wash, in part. Check them out at sudsregina.com. A clean car drives better. We spent 30 minutes on the CFL. That's more than any other show. We'll come back on that after Scruffy adjourns, because there are other things. Point two, the Philadelphia Flyers are prepared to pay Anaheim center Leo Carlsson the highest NHL annual salary at $18 million a year since the cap era began in 2005. Now giving the Ducks 7 days to match the offer. I'm not going to get into all of it because it's what everybody else has been talking about. But it is wacky and wild, Mitch. It's the biggest thing in the NHL. There are a few other things too, but what's your take on how that's all played out and what it's causing in the NHL?
Well, it makes you wonder what some guys, including Connor Bedard and Macklin Celebrini, will get for contracts. Leo Carlsson's now the highest paid player in the NHL. It's just a matter as to if the Flyers or the Ducks are going to be signing the check. Roddy, I've talked to a lot of people since this happened. What do you do if you're the Anaheim Ducks? Do you keep this guy? Or do you, with the young talent you've got, go, you know what, there's 4 more draft picks that are probably going to be in the upper echelon or the lower half of the first round. So what do you do if you're Anaheim? Like, they have said that they're going to match any offer, but I don't think they were thinking that offer was going to be $18 million.
No. Well, and that's part of what I don't understand. I called an NHL friend on Saturday. I said, make this make sense to me. And he goes, this has screwed everything as far as the salary table across the National Hockey League. So this is what I don't understand. I'm like, you just said Leo Carlsson, and I read it in the story, is the highest paid player in the NHL. No matter whoever, he's going to get it from somebody, as you just said. Most people couldn't pick him out of a lineup. So you're saying this guy should be paid higher than McDavid and Matthews and McKinnon? Well, he's going to be. And this particular guy mentioned, he goes, Bedard's numbers are better than Carlsson's. So now Chicago has to give Connor whatever he wants because they can't afford to lose him because he's in that stratosphere of those major superstars. And those are the kind of guys that take you to the Stanley Cup.
I guess my question on this is, and I don't know what Philadelphia's salary structure looks like as far as what other guys are making, but correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't make more than 20% of the cap, right? A player can't?
I don't know that. I don't know.
I read that somewhere before this had started because they were talking about Bedard and Celebrini and what type of contracts they're going to get. And McDavid, when his contract comes up. And I thought they said that a player couldn't get paid more than 20% of the cap. So if that's the case, is 18.5 20% of the cap? And if that is the case, how can Connor Bedard and Matthew Celebrini get more? Especially Bedard, because his contract is up now. Like, they're trying to negotiate. So are we going to see Connor Bedard get $18.5 million and then Celebrini get 20% of whatever the cap is next year? That would make sense if that statement is accurate.
Sure. Well, it's interesting because I'm not as interested in it as a lot of my friends. Like, it's July. I would rather talk about CFL and baseball, quite frankly, yet I walk into the press box at the baseball park here. That's what all the guys are talking about because I'm in a hockey town. And it reminds me of back in the day with the NFL, not that long ago, when Myles Garrett was signing the highest contract for a non-quarterback, Myles Garrett, and then a week later, A.J. Watt does, and then a week later, somebody else does, right? It's just bing, 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 it just keeps going up and up and up. That's just the way that it is. So in the case of Bedard, this is what I do know, because we all know Bedard and know of him. His camp was thinking $15 million. Now, if we get $15 million, that'd be pretty good. All of a sudden, within a week, it's like 20. Okay. So you can see why these guys are sitting back and waiting, because it just goes up and up and up and up. Here's one more on the NHL. I just saw this morning. I don't know how much you follow it, but the Wingman podcast that the Kachucks host, did you see the clip where they were basically mocking the goalie, Linus Ullmark of the Senators, all the Kachucks, and their dad?
No.
It was near the end of the season. Yeah, it was. Oh, I watched it. I mean, you can't live in South Florida and not be inundated with Matthew Tkachuk coverage. But they were literally, because Linus Ullmark got scratched the game before they came to Florida because he wasn't mentally healthy enough to play. And Keith Tkachuk pretty much laughed at him on this podcast. Apparently that caused problems within the Senators' dressing room, which I don't doubt. Do you think that kind of thing could upset the apple cart to the degree enough? I think by your reaction, it sounds like you could see that being the case. That's what I just read this morning.
Yeah, when Brady's in Ottawa, that's a bad look, and that's Keith throwing Brady under the bus. I hope Brady wasn't saying anything on that podcast about a former teammate, because if it is, that's a bad look.
To be honest,
going into a new team, regardless
for anybody,
of the fact that Matthews' his brother and has been there, it's a bad look if Brady Tkachuk is slamming one of his teammates.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, this is a really good, I wish I had more time with you. And I got to debate this with the viewers after once you leave, but he sat there and didn't say anything. It was similar to when Trump mocked the U.S. women's national team on that phone call after the men won the gold medal. Brady just sat there and didn't say anything. And we're starting to realize maybe, Brady, you need to step up and say something.
Yep.
Because he's starting to look bad in these instances.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of guys want to
disagree.
A lot of people just want to sit back and not say anything. As a matter of fact, you last a hell of a lot longer, I'm told, if you do that. But speaking of that,
it probably would have been smart, because Matthew doesn't give a rat's ass.
No. Not at
Keith
all.
obviously doesn't give a rat's ass, but it would have been good for Brady to have maybe said, "Hey, can we stop this for a second? Dad,
he's the young one.
Don't be criticizing one of my teammates, please. Not when I'm not when I'm involved. If Keith wants to do that with Matthew, fine. But
that's how it all played out, because I've seen the clip.
That's Keith throwing Brady under the bus.
And then another one, lastly, has nothing to do with these topics, but in your column Saturday, I obviously really enjoyed it. It's at rodpeterson.com, the Scruffy's this and that. You really went after Brendan Sorsby and backed the CFL for banning him forever. Would you mind repeating that? Like, I'm obviously a second chance guy. You're not. You're clearly not.
I have no time for somebody like Sean Lemon and Brendan Sorsby for gambling, okay? And let's go. This isn't a recent thing. Like, let's go back to Pete Rose. Let's go back to the days when you could pick up the phone and phone up somebody and say, I want to put $15 down on this team to win, or I want to put $100 down on this team. Roddy, the professional leagues are in bed, obviously, with Bet365, CoolBet, BetMGM, the list goes on.
All of them.
Okay? They want you to place bets knowing that you're confident in the integrity of the game. And if Brendan Sorsby plays in the CFL, goes back to the NCAA, or goes to the NFL, is that incompletion? Is that legit? Is that interception that looks really bad because he threw it right to the defensive back? Is it legit? The league will wonder. The teams will wonder. The bettors will wonder. And it's just like the two relievers in Major League Baseball for Cleveland, for pitches. You have that. It damages the integrity of the game. And it's much like our topic right off the top with the soccer. Different sort of things. But
I was just going to say that.
The integrity of the game.
That's the most overused term.
And you can't have players doing that. I'm sorry.
That's your opinion. I don't agree, but I respect your right to voice it, because the integrity of the game, I hear it all the time in all the leagues. You're going to be accused of it being rigged anyways, number one. And number two, the integrity, the biggest league in the world, FIFA, because of Donald Trump, one phone calls reversed the decision. And you want to talk about integrity of the game on the biggest stage in the world? Give me a break. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not arguing with you. You see where I come from. I just think, oh, my God.
I know your background, so I do understand it, but I also think that you just can't have that in the game. And if you do, you're just opening up a brand new Pandora's box.
Clearly, that's how the leagues feel. So they're in agreement with you. So, okay, Mitch, This has been fantastic. We'll see you tomorrow. Then I'll be in touch about getting together. All right? Bye-bye. Our P show continues right after.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Well, if you aren't realizing why this is the best sports talk show going, I feel like today is a perfect example of that. And I see why everybody says it goes by so fast. Mitchell adjourns after 40 minutes, and I have a lot of things I never even had a chance to get to with him. So I guess in the next 16 minutes I will with you, and then we'll roll it over into hour two when we go to air across Nevada on Silver State Sports. As it is now, we're streaming on Game Plus, our own YouTube channel, podcast, and WQVZ. Where do I start? David, number 2 in Winnipeg, writes in Western Dodge text line. He says, "Happy Monday, Rod. First, the involvement of Donald Trump in the World Cup is an absolute joke. I do agree that it shouldn't have been a red card. It sure looked like an accidental collision." He says, "The most powerful man in the world should not be involved in changing anything to do with sports. And the Bo Levi injury is a shame, and I 100% agree with you on the Caleros hit. El Gersma seems to have all the tools, but they need sharpening." So I'll say this. So David's number 2 in Winnipeg. A lot of Bomber fans tuned in here right now. I'm getting a real kick out of them. To quote John Frenzy, the Hall of Fame Rough Riders broadcaster, "There's a lot of negative Nelsons." I will add to that in the Bomber fan base. Because I went to our Facebook page last night and I said the reports of the Bombers' demise have been greatly exaggerated. They attacked me. They're like, "Stick to Florida hockey. You don't know." I'm trying to be positive. Your backup come off the bench and win the game for you, and you're all pissed off? I feel like that's a Bomber fan thing, not a human thing, a people thing. I don't know. I'm trying to be positive here. Welcome to my life being misunderstood. Trey Ford comes off the bench for Hamilton, and I'm sorry, blew it for Hamilton. They're the ones in the mess, not Winnipeg. Can you understand that? Kirk in Toronto writes in 902-518-3033, says Bo's injury looks very similar to Chad Kelly's broken ankle, and we all know how long Kelly was out for. Long recovery. Well, that's the big story. Hamilton's season's probably done. I mean, they got to go find a veteran guy. Can you longtime CFL fans tell me of a guy that came in, because I can't think of one, and have only been covering the league professionally since 1991. Don't talk about being a fan. Fans important too. They have great memories, in a lot of cases better than the reporters. But I don't remember some hot shot rookie American coming in half or a third of the way through a season and saving a season. That just doesn't happen. Not some rookie who's never set foot on Canadian soil. Which, back to this kid, Matthew Sexton, who was the star of Week 5, really. 101-yard punt return touchdown for Sask in the win at Ottawa. He was in the UFL with San Antonio just this spring. So, or maybe it was last year. But don't say there's not players in the UFL. From the audience, and I should mention, we are brought to you when we talk hockey by the Mad Greek. Are you craving the famous Greek ribs everybody's raving about? Get yours today at the Mad Greek Eatery. I'm going there for supper tonight. But you all are, it just takes a while, but you are all figuring out why I do the things that I do. Nobody could figure out why I would come to Moose Jaw in the summer and broadcast baseball at the NCAA level. It's for fun. I want to get out of the Florida heat, yes. But two, here's an example of why I love it so much here. I just got a text here. Sorry for the late notice, but it's a day off for the Millers. This is from team staff, and they're having a team bonding session at a ranch just outside of town towards Pasqua, and I'm invited to go. See these guys riding horses, oh my God, and hanging out and having a barbecue at a ranch outside. That's the kind of fun stuff. So it's fun to be with a team for just a couple of months. I'm good. It scratches an inch for me. And then I get to go back to Florida and follow the Panthers and Lightning around and continue to do this show. But I just love these kids so much, and I love every part of doing the games, and Mitch is doing the Regina games. And I think you can tell by the look on my face how much I love it. So, but it's taken a while, I guess 3 seasons for people to understand why it's so great. But follow my social media at Rod Pedersen Official this afternoon to see the baseball players getting their cowboy on. By the way, I look at all these photos and videos from the Calgary Stampede, and it just exhausts me. Regarding the offer sheet, like Scott, I appreciate Scott in Vancouver with the question, because it's confusing even at the surface level before you even get in too deep on the offer sheet offered by Philadelphia. If he signs it, Leo Carlson, the Flyers got to give 4 first-round picks to Anaheim, and Scott in Vancouver writes it. He says, are they all first-rounders? I think Shanahan went to St. Louis for that. That's exactly what happened, and it was for Brennan Shanahan, was it not? I'm trying to remember. So it was only 40 years ago, my God. On the Keith Tkachuk comment, and boy, Scott, you're bringing it today. Keith Tkachuk mocked the Ottawa goalie on the Wingman podcast, which his sons host, Matthew and Brady. And Matthew Tkachuk piled on because, as Scruffy says, Tkachuk doesn't care. Matthew does not care, which I admire. I really do. And Brady just sat there and smiled and laughed awkwardly. And that's what he did when Trump made the joke about the U.S. women's national team. And it's at a point now where Brady, I think we're realizing, you need to stand up and not be a wallflower in these situations. You're, 25, 20? You're a man. You're captain of an NHL team. I just read it this morning that caused a problem in the Senators' dressing room, and I put that out to Scruffy, and he's like, well, how could it not? So let's just say I heard from media circles, nobody involved with the Panthers at all, wasn't even Panthers media, that podcast was causing some problems. And I'm just, okay. And now you're starting to find out why. I don't think that's the only problems. Jason in Red Deer says Brady is spineless. He is all talk when he's chirping on the ice. He plays pretty tough. These are off-ice issues that have caused problems, but being a captain isn't all off-ice. Regarding those kids being banned forever for gambling violations while in college, Ken in Mississauga writes, and he says every state and province had not legitimized betting back in Pete Rose's day. Well, it's a different world, and as I say with Mitch, I think you all I don't argue with what you people say. I don't argue with what my co-hosts say. I don't always agree, but that's what makes this show so great is we talk about it all, and we're not yelling on top of each other like all the other shows. Monty in Saskatoon says, am I going to the ranch? Of course I'm going to go to the ranch. Are you kidding me? I can't miss that. See these guys? Some of them will know what they're doing around these horses and animals. Like Weston Walls, our 6'5" righty from Terrell, Texas, the WCBL leader in strikeouts and innings pitched. Ken in Mississauga says, I like the story of the player's mom who came up to your broadcast booth to say, well, Ken, they're all doing that now, and I get a kick out of that because they're all coming up from the States. They immediately walk into the stadium, and they look for the preps, and they point, and they come up right away. So I've met all the families this summer, and it's been fantastic. These guys are no less important than the pro players that I'm around at all. Starting to understand why I love it so much. I guess I shouldn't have had to explain it. I just, you're seeing it. 902-518-3033. Well, Wilf and Steinbach writes in. It's a very legitimate question from Wilf. He says, hi, Rod. Hamilton, will they call the Bombers for Drew Brown? Here's the thing about that. Number one, Doug Brown, the Bombers color commentator, was tweeting this morning that Drew Brown should start this week. I got the week 6 schedule written down. They got Toronto at Winnipeg on Friday night. He says Drew Brown should start for the Bombers. So this is where I admire Bob Irving, the Hall of Fame voice of the Blue Bombers, for dealing with fans, because now I'm going back and forth with Bomber fans, and I'm like, what are you so mad about? Your general manager has stockpiled quarterbacks in the instance that Zach Collaros might get hurt. What any GM or coach in the CFL or sports will tell you, older players are great, but they get hurt. Young players are great, but they make mistakes. So the guys you want are in their late 20s in their prime because they don't get hurt and they've made all their mistakes. Zach got hurt. Bo got hurt. It happens. So you got a GM in Kyle Walters who has acquired quarterbacks for this exact situation. So what are you all so pissed off about? Like I said, I feel like that's a Bomber fan thing, not a people thing. My God, how would you like to be Hamilton? I don't think you can win with Jake Delagalla, and you clearly can't with Trey Ford. The game was on the line, and he threw a very bad interception for the Tiger Cats. So, and your question, Wilf, is will the Ticats call Drew Brown? Why would the Bombers trade him away? They know what they got in him when they reacquired him from Ottawa, number one. And number two, I always wondered why anybody in the CFL would trade with each other because it's such a small league. Winnipeg's not in any onus to help out Hamilton at all. I remember some of the trades that make sense for both sides. Trade deadline 2015, we traded Jerome Messam, Saskatchewan, to Calgary for the kicker Tyler Crapina. We needed a kicker. They needed a bruising tailback, and it actually really worked out for both. What does Winnipeg need from Hamilton? They already got their quarterback. So it's a good question, but that's my answer to that. So anyways, a hell of a lot of CFL here in hour one. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, nobody else talking about it as much as us. It'll probably come up in hour two as well. But my good friend, longtime friend, Jamie Heward is going to be joining us from the Henderson Silver Knights, American Hockey League, the Vegas suburb. We'll be talking hockey with Huey and also Country Thunder, because he's in the ownership group of Country Thunder, and the biggest party of the summer is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan, beginning this Thursday, running through Sunday, and I will be out there. Probably Sunday night when Lainey Wilson shuts it all down. We'll be back with hour two right after this.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Beep, beep. Welcome to a brand new week on the RP Show, everybody. It's a Monday. The train has stopped momentarily to welcome aboard the viewers in Las Vegas and all across Nevada on Silver State Sports. All aboard, and away we go. I'm actually really excited about this week's run of shows. I'm excited about every week's run of shows, but coming up today in our guest spot presented by Prairie Panels, check them out at prairiepanels.ca. NHL alum, Henderson Silver Knights assistant coach, and part owner of Country Thunder Music Festivals, Jamie Heward, coming up in the next segment to talk about all of those things. Huey's going to be with us and just signed a brand new contract with the Henderson Silver Knights of the AHL. That's today. On Tuesday, how about this? I don't mind saying it because it's true. Mark Trestman, the former offensive coordinator of the Oakland Raiders, now the Las Vegas Raiders, reached out to me from Naples, Florida, and he's like, Rod, I got a new book out. Can I get on the show to talk about it and talk ball? I'm like, let me think about that. Yes. The last time Mark Trestman was on was last fall, and because of some timing issues, some tech issues, the interview kind of got muddled up. We never really got into those old-time Raiders stories when he was John Gruden's offensive coordinator with the Raiders. So we'll be talking some NFL with Mark and his new book and all the rest. So it's a really big week here on the RP Show on Game and all the variety of platforms, including WQVZ Radio. Let's go. The big story is, well, there's a lot of them, but the biggest one I would suggest on this continent and around the world might even be the World Cup. The USA will take on Belgium tonight, and they will have their leading scorer, Folarin Balogun, in the lineup. Yes, I'm not the biggest soccer guy, but I'm getting there. Balogun was issued a red card in a 2-0 win over Bosnia and Herzegovina last week, earning him an automatic suspension. However, FIFA ruled on Sunday that he won't have to sit out the round of 16 game tonight. It came after President Donald J. Trump called FIFA's president to urge him to review the red card, according to two sources. We all know that now, right? Because we aren't living under a rock. So the game is Monday night. I find it very exciting. The Trump thing has its own set of drama. And I feel like soccer is a lot like NASCAR and even maybe a little bit like curling. It's not so much about what's going out on the playing surface. It's everything that's going on outside the playing, the drama, the crashes, the this, the that. I got to watch now. And as I'm reading USA, because I probably wouldn't have been. But I will be. Well, I got things coming up. I got invited to my baseball team's team bonding session at a ranch just outside town. I can't miss that. I will not be getting on a horse.
But that's before the soccer game. So it's going to be big fun today. That's number one. Oh, the poll question brought to you by Country Thunder, which Jamie Heward will be joining us coming up from Country Thunder. The biggest party of the summer is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan, July 9th to the 12th. That's this Thursday to Sunday, featuring Creed, Lainey Wilson. The poll, and you can get your tickets at countrythunder.com/SK. Come on up here and get out of the heat. The poll question is, was it fair that Donald Trump got the suspension overturned? I'll spare you the time. I mean, you can vote for those that are watching streaming. You can vote on the YouTube. The last I saw, 89% of respondents saying no. But are you starting to see something? Thank you, producer Corey. You see why people are power hungry, whether it's Donald Trump or the people that cause problems in our lives, the people that are trying to climb that corporate ladder to get above you and step on everybody's heads. The reasons why Donald Trump's the most powerful man in the world, vis-a-vis, can do whatever the hell he wants because he's the most powerful man in the world. So if he wants to have Fuller and Balajan play for Team USA, he's going to get it done. And I didn't spend a ton of time on the coverage of this because there's a lot of things going on that I also am interested in. But apparently the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, it's not like Johnny Upton, Gianni, like the Italian designer. Gianni Infantino, apparently he wants to get on Trump's good side for whatever reason. I don't know. So he's like, oh, okay, yeah, he can play. This stuff does go on in sports, by the way. But I will say in the USA Today this morning, they were like, well, no matter whether the USA team wins or not, the players won't be happy if they win because that wasn't fair. We need to get those types of writers and media out of the media because you don't have any idea what's going on. Do you think the Team USA members, if they win today, will give a rosy red ass that Trump may help them win? You're an idiot if you actually believe that they would feel bad for winning because of, oh my God, wake up. Oh, for those of us that have a Canadian passport that are following, a mix of disappointment and pride lingered in the moments after Canada was ousted from the FIFA World Cup on Saturday. The team made history again and again throughout the tournament before falling to Morocco in the round of 16 game on Saturday. I will just say this. I stopped in my little hometown on Saturday while the game was on it is literally a one-horse town. 640 people in my hometown. It's never gone up. It's never gone down because every time a girl gets pregnant, a guy leaves town. Ba-dum-bump. I walk in the gas station while the soccer game is on. They got a news channel on the TV. Dolly Parton's on the stereo. The coffee was hot. They weren't watching soccer. And it was Canada playing. Nothing's changed. Nothing ever changes. God bless them. But Canada lost 3-0 to Morocco. Canada's out. I'm following it. And afterwards, the coach, of course, he's getting... Here's the latest. Canadians are upset today because blank. The head coach, Jesse Marsh, said after that loss, 3-0 to Morocco, the way we pushed, the way we were in the match, the quality we showed, the overall impact in the match, we were better. We were better than the number 7 team in the world. All of a sudden, he's getting criticized for that. Like, I kind of get that. That's what John Cooper said after Canada lost the gold medal game. Didn't for sure, Nathan McKinnon said that after Canada lost in the gold medal game to USA in the Olympics of hockey. He's getting torn apart for that. Jesse Marsh got torn apart for calling his, I told you on Friday, I was in a meeting, and one of the guys in the meeting was crapping on Jesse Marsh for saying, oh, yeah, he said his players are heroes. He told his players not you, you donkey. I want to play for Jesse Marsh. Yeah, you guys lost, but it wasn't your fault. You guys are heroes. No wonder he's one of the best coaches in the world, and he's accomplishing great things. Have you ever played sports? Have you ever answered to a great leader? Oh, my God. I don't have any problem with anything this guy said. And the fact that he's coaching in jeans makes him even more of a goat. Anyways, the warm-up is brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel and the Quick Six show topics as well. Uniglobe Carefree is the official travel partner of the RP Show and the CFL's BC Lions when it comes to sports trips, group travel, or your next great getaway. Trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with Uniglobe Carefree Travel. So, point 2, I'm going to put this in as we're in NHL markets. The Philadelphia Flyers are prepared to pay Anaheim center Leo Carlsson the highest annual salary in the NHL at $18 million a year since the salary cap era began in 2005. Now giving the Ducks 7 days to match the offer. We'll get into this a little bit with Jamie Heward when he joins us next. It's all anybody's talking about that loves hockey in Canada right now. Well, there is one other thing that I'm far more interested in, which I'll get to next. But the Flyers tendered the 5-year, $90 million offer sheet to Karlsson on Friday, which would require 4 of the Flyers' first-round draft picks in each of the next 4 seasons as compensation. Ducks have 7 days to exercise their right of first refusal on that deal. And their general manager, Pat Verbeek, said that they would match all offer sheets. Oh, yeah? Let's see. And that's where we're at. And to me, it's confusing, but I'm not very smart. We've established that. So I called the hockey guy on Saturday, who I trust implicitly, and he trusts me. He knew that I would never name him. He knows all the ins and outs of this. And I just said, make sense of this to me. And he goes, this has screwed everything. And I knew exactly what he meant. He's talking about the pay table across the National Hockey League. And he says, let me just break it down for you. Leo Carlsson was the number 2 pick in the draft. Guess who went number 1? Connor Bedard to Chicago. Connor's got better stats. They're the same age. They've been in the NHL for the same time. Connor's got better numbers. So if Leo Carlsson's going to get $18 million, Connor can very reasonably walk into the general manager in Chicago, Kyle Davidson, and say, well, if he got 18, I want this. They got to give him whatever he wants. And this guy went on to say that Chicago has to do whatever they can't let him get away. Pittsburgh never let Crosby get away. Edmonton never let McDavid get away. Colorado doesn't let McKinnon get away. These guys have taken all their teams to the Stanley Cup. Bedard's the next. So that's kind of what's going on there. But to sit and debate, which a lot of people are, how stupid the money is in the NHL, that's the players are the ones that win. Don't get mad about that. It's not their fault, and it never has been. But the far more interesting thing to me, which I'll say is 2B, I don't know, I have it scratched down on my notes here, is something came up this morning that I read out of Ottawa, that the Tkachuk brothers, Brady Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk, host this podcast called the Wingmen Podcast. I've never listened to it. I can't say I haven't listened to a second of it because I've seen the clips. But near the end of the season, their dad, Keith Tkachuk, was on that podcast, and they sat there and laughed at the goalie for Ottawa, Linus Ullmark, because of his mental health issues. And I don't mind, I saw it. I saw the clip. I'm like, this is horrifying. This was while Brady was still playing for Ottawa. It was the week that Ullmark was scratched from a game for mental health reasons, and then he came into Sunrise with Brady and got lit up for 5 goals in the first 10 minutes. And it just came out today that that little segment of that podcast caused problems in the Ottawa Senators dressing room. And I'm only bringing it up because Brady and Matthew Tkachuk are right now, whether you like it or not, the faces of the National Hockey League, certainly in the USA and probably largely in Canada too. And Keith Tkachuk led it all, the dad who just got announced into the Hockey Hall of Fame, led it all. You kind of got to go back and see the clip, but he was mocking the goalie. Matthew piled on, which is what he does. And Brady sat there and just smiled and laughed awkwardly. And that's exactly what happened when the USA won the gold medal in Italy against Canada, and Donald Trump called the USA dressing room and mocked the women's national team. And Brady stood there and laughed awkwardly again. So what we're getting at here, Brady, maybe it's time you got to step up and put the big boy pants on, not let dad and your older brother handle the battles. Or maybe he doesn't care. Have we thought about that? But we have a text David writes in on the Western Dodge text line 902-518-3033. Just so you know, the Keith Tkachuk comment was basically that Linus Ullmark was soft for missing a game because of mental health concerns. David, number 2, writes in, he says, I don't like to degenerate people, especially a former Winnipeg Jet, but Keith Tkachuk's comments are moronic. He, like his sons, was an agitator. He may be just trying to stir the pot and gain viewers for the podcast. Demeaning someone over their mental health struggles is pathetic. It's kind of how it's all played out, and it's kind of what I also don't really understand. Keith Tkachuk's going to the Hockey Hall of Fame, and I don't think his brothers give 2 squirts, or his sons, 2 squirts about really what Linus Ullmark thought. I guess maybe we're making too much of a deal of it, but I just read it this morning out of Ottawa that little clip caused major problems in the Ottawa dressing room, which led to Brady being dealt out of town. It is what it is. 902-518-3033. Scott in Vancouver writes in. He says, I saw that too, Rod. Bad look on Keith. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can run around and just say stuff and not care. Just drop bombs and not care where it lands and what it blows up. It's kind of what he's doing. Yeah, I'll stop because the comments are getting a little crazy on that. I mean, obviously, I work in the mental health field as a professional, so you wonder why people don't go public with their comments, with their struggles, like a Victor Hedman, the captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning, because of people like Keith Tkachuk making comments like that. It doesn't help. It's kind of all I'm saying. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Our picks, we do daily or at least weekly for football for Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. It's our sports watching headquarters, too, by the way, as their managing partner, cool Kevin Smith, says. I grew up with him. We're a sports bar. Shoot, they were full yesterday for the Brazil soccer game. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Here's another reason why I love being home in Canada for the summer, not the least of which is being with this baseball team, which invited me to their team bonding session today. That means a lot to me, by the way. But how about those Blue Jays? Point 3. Blue Jays designated hitter George Springer could make his return from the family medical emergency list as soon as today, according to skipper John Schneider. The 4-time All-Star went on the paternity list last Wednesday, welcoming the birth of his third child. The paternity leave expired, so the Blue Jays moved him to the family medical emergency list, but John Schneider confirmed everything was well, and the move was to give their leadoff hitter more time. He is expecting Springer to be available to join the Jays today in San Fran, where the team opens a 3-game series against the Giants. The Blue Jays open the week 11.5 games behind AL East leading Tampa Bay following Sunday's 4-0 loss at Seattle. So when I say I enjoy that, it is just nice putting my feet up when we have the time, because we always have, what I tell you, we always have Mondays off with our baseball team here, the Millers. So that's usually when I can watch Blue Jays baseball, and I really love it on Sportsnet because Dan Shulman is the greatest in the game, especially since Buck Martinez hung it up. Jamie Campbell's a longtime friend of mine, the host. These guys like George Springer and Vladdy, we feel like we know them. As Joe, our sales manager, was saying yesterday, you wonder why the old people love the Blue Jays so much. They can watch them every single day, and they feel like they know these guys. It's awesome. And Sportsnet does such a tremendous job of it. But again, so today's the day off for our baseball team, and they're young men. I was saying this, I had lunch last week with the former PR director of the Riders, the pro football team that I work for, and he's like, why do you love these guys so much? I say, because they're young men. They're not married yet. They don't have any kids, so they're not kids. They're young men, but they're elite level athletes. And to see them come together and play for each other, Scruffy just said last hour, he's like, you got a ball club there. I'm like, I've been telling you that for weeks. So today we have a team building session at a ranch just outside the city, and they asked me to come. Oh, my God. What's the worst?
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, we're back. It's the guest segment brought to you by Prairie Panels, and he's one of my favorite guys, Jamie Heward, NHL alum, Toronto, Nashville, the Islanders, Columbus, Washington, LA, Tampa Bay, Henderson Silver Knights assistant coach, Country Thunder. He's joining us from SAS' biggest party. How you doing, Huey?
I'm good, my man. How are you?
Good, good, good. Happy Monday. Your arms are going to get tired by the end of this thing. Tell the folks what you're doing out there in Craven, Saskatchewan at this very moment.
We are putting on the biggest country show in the province, man. We've been out here. I guess we started around 2005, 2006 with Craven Country Jamboree, and then we rebranded it. Troy Volhofer rebranded it Country Thunder a few years ago, and so anybody that knows a little bit about Craven and where it is, we're going to be rocking and rolling out here coming up this weekend.
Well, just hang on. Your wife told me that you were running the Zoom boom. I'm like, I don't even know what that is, but I was going to wait till you got on so you could tell me.
It's a really big piece of machinery with forks on the front that we got to move crap around with. So
okay.
It's not really glamorous, but you know what? As a young kid, I dreamed about doing heavy equipment. So that's the one I got going on now.
Okay, well, I can't wait to get out there and see you. I have not been out there since I went into recovery 11 years ago. So when I come out this weekend, it's going to be a grand time. But it's not just about the music. And trust me, we're going to talk about some hockey here too, everybody. But you guys got the Bulls in there. And it's not new necessarily. Yeah, but can you talk about that, please? Because that's during the day on the weekend, and that's so much fun.
During the day, actually, I'll give you a little shot. I'm actually in the bull ring right now. So at one point, this used to be there used to be 2 beer gardens out here, and then they changed it in to just get some other events out here. So now we got the Bulls coming in, and they're going to be rocking and rolling during the day. Give people something else to do during the day. Get out of their campers and come into Main Street and watch these guys perform. And anybody that's ever been to a bull riding event knows that it's high intensity. So it's definitely going to be worth coming in to watch during the day.
Well, I'll be there. I can't wait. We'll come back on the music lineup in a second. Some viewers said they had some questions for you. They said, maybe this isn't the time to ask Hugh. I said, Huey will answer any questions about the lineup. You will, right? Any questions you have?
Yep.
They have.
Anything I can.
Okay, so, but within reason.
But on the Leo Carlson thing with the offer sheet, when that came down on Friday, was that where were you when you heard Phillies offered him $18 million a year on 5 years? What did you think about this?
I was sitting at my cottage that I thought was a pretty nice place to be, and I I wondered what I would do with $18 million a year. Oh man, the first reaction was wow. First of all, he's going to be the highest paid player in the NHL when it comes in, and it just was a little bit of a shock factor that it went that high. That quick. It escalated pretty quick when, Bowen Byram signs for 12 and a bit, and then all of a sudden it just escalates to a little bit different level. So yeah, I was, the biggest shock for me is I don't know what's more shocking, the Connor McDavid deal a couple of years ago or this one.
That was so low?
Yeah. Like it just, now that the salary cap and the numbers are going up, it's, the players deserve what they're going to get for working hard and putting a product on the ice. It was a little bit of a shock factor for sure.
Well, I think, Huey, because you played in the NHL, as I said, what was it, 393 games? Is that whatever it was, right? And you're 394, and you're grateful for every single one. But yeah, there's a lot of NHL alum that are pissed off what the money is now. It is what it is. It's not the player's fault. But it doesn't make sense. It does. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, back in the day, I was making more money than, guys that were in the Hall of Fame. So, I mean, that's not that I was making a ton, but they just, when they first started playing in the NHL, there was, guys are in Montreal, guys making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year to play, in the best league in the world. And then it escalated to what we were making, and then it jumped again, and it keeps jumping. And, that's a sign of the times. That's a sign that the game is strong. The NHL is in a great spot. If you aren't excited about the NHL when it comes to playoff time, and you're not a true hockey fan. I mean, it's just spectacular. It's great TV, and I think that's carried over, and that product that produces more money on the ownership end to give to the players. So, I mean, it's a trickle down effect, right? If the league's not doing well, the salaries aren't going to go up. The salary cap's not going to go up. So I think it's a credit to everybody that is doing the production of the NHL, the TV deals, the management, making sure there's a good product on the ice, and the players are benefiting. And I think, there can be some guys that are upset that it's going that high, but you know what? Players were upset 15 years ago that salaries were going up too, and young kids were driving Porsches and they were still driving, SUVs. So, I mean, it comes full circle. But for me, it's just shocking how high it went that early. I just didn't think that it would get to that point this fast.
Yeah, it tells me everybody's doing a great job. Ratings are up, revenue's up, everybody's up, and the players are benefiting. So it's all good. But I think what I'm hung up on, most people, Huey, couldn't pick Leo Carlson out of a lineup, and he's the highest paid player in the NHL. That's what doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I think that's where everybody's. Hey, nothing against him. He's a heck of a hockey player, but is he? Does he need to make more money than some of the other guys? That much more money than some of the other guys in the league as a defenseman. Now, if a forward would have went and signed, for a little bit more. The highest paid forward is Kaprizov, right at about 17.5. So if a forward would have signed that and it had similar numbers, you'd be like, okay. But when a D-man jumps over top of a guy that scores that many points, gets that many goals, that's part of the shock value for a lot of people. They're like, what, a D-man? Like, you know what I mean? But, on the other hand, nobody ever thought in today's game or whatever that a goaltender would be over 10 million. People just thought that was there's no way. They need that money for everybody else. And now you're seeing goaltenders get up into that range. And so I think the franchise tag on a lot of guys that people want to sign is important, and you're going to get the money for it.
Okay. Before we go back to the music, just on your life, you guys, when we had you on, you guys were just getting hot. with Henderson Silver Knights, right? And you ended up having a great regular season record and a pretty good playoff run, and then you were around for the whole Golden Knights run. So talk about your spring with the Silver Knights and looking ahead to Vegas hockey here.
Well, it was an exciting year for the whole franchise last year. I mean, Henderson did really well. Our scouts did a great job, and Kelly did a great job. Tim Speltz did a great job signing some veteran guys to help our younger guys out in the American League, which is huge. Making sure they're ready, giving our team a kind of an attitude that hey, we're not just going to be development. We're going to actually win some hockey games and develop at the same time, which is great, and that's what guys want. We started out. VGK had a few injuries, so lost our goaltender, lost a couple of D, a good forward. So we were just trying to find our way, and then we got some guys back from injury, and we got our goaltender back, and we had a great second half. After the All-Star break, we were the hottest team in the American Hockey League at one point. Ended up crawling from 7th place to 3rd place. And then had a pretty good playoff run. We lost a couple guys to VGK, which hurt us a little bit, but the experience and everything for our young guys and for the guys that came in to have some excitement around our team was awesome. And that translates into guys going up and playing in the playoffs for VGK. Dylan Coughlin ended up getting called up and was a big part of the back end for VGK moving forward. And so that makes us all real proud of what we were doing down with Henderson.
All right. Sounds good. And congrats on the new deal. Everything is good in Huey's world. That's what it looks like to me. So congrats on all that. And on the music, the Country Thunder, you can imagine my buddies. They're a little upset it's not 100% country. K-Dog is the guy that wanted to ask you about Creed. Come in. Can you talk about the musical selection this year?
Well, I think we went to rock a couple of years ago on the one day. We had Nickelback out. Last year we had Def Leppard. And Troy has experimented a little bit, kind of the trend of, Josh Ross went out with Nickelback and toured across Canada, and they did very well, right? So there was a good mix. And kind of talking to the younger kids, not everybody's listening to one genre anymore. You get a pretty good mix. Like even when I go out with my son Blake and his buddies, and they're at the lake, and it's a really good mix of stuff, and they're listening to that older rock and roll, that heavier stuff. So Troy, he did all his research, and he did everything that the marketing and the team down in Nashville researched it out, and the first year with Nickelback, everybody absolutely loved it. So the trend has kind of continued. And the thing is, it's country leading up, and then Creed is, obviously the Saturday night, but the party around it, and then you mix in a little bit of rock is pretty phenomenal. And to be honest with you, a lot of the bands in the beer garden, they'll play classic rock, they'll play Canadian rock, they'll play songs that they kind of just take as a country band, and they kind of just move forward with them. So just seeing the entertainment and the excitement of people in the beer garden, and when a good band comes on, that's kind of what we were after. And Creed's a great rock band. The year I played in Philadelphia in '98, they were just hitting their stride, and I remember listening to them every day going to the rink, and still do. So exciting times. Riley Green is phenomenal. You're going to have a good Friday night lead up into Saturday, and then our Sunday headliner is always a hit. So yeah, let's get people out here and rock and roll and two-step at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's my last question for you. Is Sunday night is always the headliner. You and I agree. George Strait's the best. Oh, we lost him. I don't know if he's coming back or not. The last time Huey was on, he joined us from Henderson, and I asked him what was the greatest country act you've ever seen at Craven. He said George Strait, and I would agree, and I want to say that was 2010. I'm not sure if we're going to get Huey back or not. Producer Corey, you let me know. I'm going to start my clock here so we get lined up for the break. But it's Lainey Wilson. I feel like that might be the end of Jamie Heward for the day on the RP show. Are you with me, Producer Corey? You're probably dealing with him. But anyway, that was my last question. So if that's it for Jamie Heward today,
I'm still not sure if we're going to roll out there and do Friday's show from there or not. As I see what Jamie's doing here today from the Craven, well, we used to call it Craven Big Valley Jamboree, Craven Country Fest, now Country Thunder. It looks like the cellular connection is fine, but it's out in the middle. It's not in the middle of nowhere, but it is in a big valley, and they used to call it Big Valley, and there's no Wi-Fi is not good. So there's a bit of a technical potential hiccup, and we don't like those. Well, what I am loving is your comments from the viewers here. From the Jug, he's watching in Saskatoon. He says, Huey gets country music and a new deal with Henderson. What a beauty. Indeed, living the good life. Keep it up, Huey. I could not agree more. Scott in Vancouver, right? Oh, there he is. He's back. All right, Huey. Hey, what happened? Did you get a call? That's usually what happens. Did you get a call?
I did, yeah. Sorry, buddy.
I knew it. No, it's all good. Last question. I was going to ask you, did you hear what the viewers were saying? Life's good for Huey. Did you hear all of that, what I was just saying?
No, I didn't hear any of it. But yeah, it's hard work out here, but I'm having fun.
Well, they said the new deal, and you're out there, and that's what. Hey, you're never been afraid of hard work. That's why we get along. But Lainey Wilson, I mean, we agreed that George Strait's both our favorite. That may be a personal thing. Well, that's just whatever. But Lainey Wilson, she's like the hottest thing in country. Well, Ella Langley is. You got to get her next year. But Lainey's right up there, right?
Lainey is, I mean, she's really taken off. Since she was on Yellowstone, all her stuff has just been hot. I mean, I love her songs. I mean, she's got some energy to her. She's got some songs that are well written, and I've seen her a couple times, and her show is very good. So, people will be excited to see her, and they'll be pleasantly surprised at how good she really is.
Well, here's one, Huey. The entertainment world fascinates me because I really know nothing about it. You work in it. So aside from the George Strait and Lainey Wilson this Sunday, what's the one show that you remember the most that pops out to your head from Craven? Whether you were as the part owner or even before that, because you're going for years before. It's why you love it so much, just like me. One show that really stands out.
Well, I think the biggest one for us that I was really shocked was actually, George Strait the year, and we had that year. We've had lots of good entertainment. Alan Jackson was phenomenal. He's just, sat up there and just rocked out tunes. Like I remember meeting him before the show, and going onto his bus and just realizing how big he was, how big his shoulders were, and how he's just a big man. I was like, wow, this is pretty good. I always was a big Toby Keith fan. He's gone now, but he just put on one great show, and he would always come back and hang out by the buses and get in the VIP area and do all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he was one. We had Taylor Swift, right? We had Taylor Swift the one year, and I didn't know anything about her. She was the year with George Strait as the headliner, and I thought, how great is this? And I remember how cold it was that year. I remember how she was, but I just remember having a good time. I mean, she was just up and coming at the time. Had campfires for her in the backstage for her crew, and they would cook hot dogs, and they were just doing all that kind of stuff. So that was the one thing I remembered. And that was early on in what we were doing. So you remember those things of how meeting those people and how the music industry really works. So those are kind of fascinating things. Our first couple of years, we had a lot of older country acts that were out here. So the nostalgia country was always good. The Oak Ridge Boys, there's a lot that I really enjoyed about the first few years that we put it on. Tim McGraw, the first year. I remember my dad, when he was working for Craven, they played football. They played tackle football in the infield before all the buses and everything got here. I'm like, man, whatever you do, don't tackle Tim McGraw too hard and hurt him so he can't play in the next couple of days. But just little things like that were pretty cool things for me.
So, yeah, of course. Well, here's 91. It wasn't even a great show. It wasn't even a great concert, but it was the peak of Achy Breaky Heart. The peak. You remember how big that was? And Billy Ray Cyrus came in on a paint horse,
rode in, and he reared up on this thing, waved his hat, and that place went insane. I never went anywhere. I've never been anywhere as loud as that at Craven Sass, 1991. Billy Ray Cyrus coming. Of course, you had him in 2010. He opened for George and Kevin Costner. Nowhere near as popular as he was in 91. And I remember my kid going, Dad, it's Hannah Montana's dad. I'm like, no, it's Billy Ray Cyrus. He was a thing before Hannah was ever a thing. All right, Huey, we're out of time. This is so much fun. I can't wait to see you this weekend. Thanks for this, and good luck with it all.
All right, man. Hey, I always appreciate you having me on.
You bet.
We'll get in touch, and I'll see you out here.
Yeah, but congrats on everything. Jamie Heward,
thanks,
NHL alum, checking in from Craven, Saskatchewan. Did that not sell it all right there? Did that not sell? Oh, exit. There he goes. You might want to throw up the RP. Yeah, Huey, you're still on. Just click out of that. Or don't say anything. There you go. He's gone. We don't need a Craven moment coming across the airwaves. Brent and Saskatchewan. Rod, had you heard Alan Jackson's retiring from touring? Don't get me started on that. I'll believe it when I see it. I almost broke my leg going to San Antonio, Texas for George Strait's last show. George is probably playing tonight. I don't believe that. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
Ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band.
You know your man is working hard. He's worth a team.
Saturday, December 5th, Temple Garden Center. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories with your little ones at Elmo's Got the Moves, the all-new Sesame Street live show coming to your neighborhood. Friday, December 4th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at SaskTix.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope you truly appreciated the Jamie Heward interview for as great as it was, for so many reasons. Not just the backdrop and everything in the old Craven stories, but the hockey insight and intel as well. It's brought to you by Prairie Panels. Are you building a shop, barn, rink, or commercial space? Prairie Panels provides high-quality insulated wall and roof panels designed for durability and energy efficiency. Visit prairiepanels.ca or call 306-985-0050. Laura's watching in Edmonton. She says she hasn't watched the show for a while. She's glad she's back. Hey, Laura, not as glad as we are. Look what I have. She sent me this bell because I lost my bell at Theron Fleury's golf tournament last summer. And Laura's like, well, we can't have that. So she shipped me this bell. She shipped it to the baseball team here, the Millers, which they got to me, and it all turned out nice again, as Cactus Jack says. And I just can't wait for our team building session this afternoon, and I'm very excited and honored to have been invited to it. The baseball team, the Miller Express, been invited to a ranch just outside town. What is the worst that could happen? And they want me there. Anyways, on the Huey thing, just with the intel, it's just the way people think. And if you missed it, I said not off the top, but the third question in, I said, where were you when you heard the Philadelphia Flyers tendered an offer sheet to Anaheim Ducks player Leo Carlson for 5 years, $90 million, works out to $18 million a season. He said he was at the cabin in what he thought was a nice cabin until he realized, what would I do with $18 million a year? That's what all the players are, and I think some fans are saying it too. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. You made enough money. I'm happy for them. And I think I know Jamie is, some of these other guys that are just bitter that we paved the way for those guys. You did, but you had a great life too. I didn't get through all of my show topics, so I'm going to roll that into the sports update for the Ultimate Fan Zone. Don't just watch the game. Live it. Gear up at Ultimate Fan Zone today. Jerseys, cards, collectibles. Find it all at ultimatefanzone.ca. This is kind of a topic. It's not news. It's what we in the media do when our leagues and teams aren't playing in the offseason. We make things up for you to talk about. And now, where did I read that? Oh, TSN. I went to TSN today, Canada's ESPN. And this is what they wrote. After an offseason chock full of trades, free agent signings, and draft picks, all 32 NFL teams have their rosters set for 2026 training camps. But how do they stack up when compared to each other? We asked our experts. So I'm sorry to say they had 3 NFL analysts, guys that I've never heard of, and that's probably a me problem, but partially a them problem. And they came up with their ranking of 1 to 32, like everybody, but with their own little spin on it. And, of course, I get sucked in like you all do, like we all do. And I wrote down their top 5. But I'm always interested to get the bottom 5, too. And that's why, we do the thing in the NHL season, the RP's top 5, bottom 5, because we live in this time in society now where the leagues especially, we don't like to do power rankings after the playoff cutoff line because it might make some teams feel bad. I don't care about that. They don't care about my feelings. But these are the top 5 from TSN.ca. The Los Angeles Rams, number 1. The reason I'm reading this is I want to know if you agree at both the top and the bottom. These guys at least did go to the bottom, 1 to 32. But number 1, LA Rams. Number 2, Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, Seattle Seahawks. Number 4, Buffalo Bills. Number 5, the Baltimore Ravens. Now, you understand the difference between power rankings and standings predictions. Totally different things. This is the top 5 teams going into the season. This is not necessarily who they think will be the top 5 at the end, still standing. Because, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, the greatest regular season team of all time. Have you seen him in a Super Bowl lately? Or even a conference championship game? But the bottom 5, and the reason I bring this up, there are a few reasons. It pertains to our world in a few ways. And it works out really well because the NHL has 32 teams as well. The 28th team, the Tennessee Titans. The 29th team, the Arizona Cardinals. The 30th team, the Atlanta Falcons. The 31st team, the Cleveland Browns. And the 32nd team, wait for it. Who do you think it is? The Miami Dolphins. We'll be right back with more.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Finishing up on that thought, but I will tell you that it is overtime, brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, an amusement park for hockey players. Just a blazing start to the week. I just want to say, if you're in Calgary for the Stampede, one of the biggest tourist attractions in Canada, the greatest outdoor show on earth, and trust me, it is. I caught that baby, 3 years ago for the first time in my life. Once was enough. It's a little too wild for me, but I sure enjoyed it. If you need a break from the madness and you're in Calgary, go check out Overtime Hockey Lanes, $20 an hour lane time. They always got something fun going on there. 28th Street, Northeast Calgary. And tell Randy and Michelle that the RP show sent you. Listen, I could very easily turn this into an entertainment show every day if you wanted to do that. God knows people love that. That was what was fantastic about the Jamie Heward interview there. We got the NHL analysis, talked a little bit about a season with Henderson in the American Hockey League, and then talked about Country Thunder and the Axe and Lainey Wilson closing it down and why they've got Creed here on the Saturday night. Apparently it's been very popular. They want to go after the young people, don't they all? See, I'm over this. This would trigger a lot of people in my area right now, but it's not triggering me. Scott in Vancouver writes in and he says, I saw something recently that said Guns N' Roses played Saskatoon in 1993. That is surprising, as they were in their heyday then. You know what everybody around here would say? Why wouldn't they come here? At that time, a 15,000-seat arena that was only 4 years old, we got all the shows back then, and we still get pretty good shows. And we got Lainey Wilson this Sunday. Why would they go there? They were great then. That would trigger a lot of people, trust me. As I'm sitting here, oh, my God. I can't tell you specifically where this is because the place will be overrun. But Monday, July 6th, barbecue for all Miller Express players and any families that might be in town. We got a family at a Stables just outside the city. That is the part of this that I love because I get it from a lot of people, a lot of guys in sports. Do you miss working for a team? Yes and no. There's pros and cons, but days like today are a pro. The ball club has a day off. We're kicking the crap out of everybody, by the way. If you remember going into the season, I was telling people we'll win 5 to 10 games based on culture alone. Here we are, a game and a half out of first place. We probably won 15 games on culture alone, and we still got over half a season to go. It's so much fun seeing these kids come together and meeting their parents. They're all coming up from the U.S. states, getting out of the heat. And I know it, yeah. I won't say it, but I will say this. The parents come into the ball because they watch all the games. And I'm calling the game. So they come into the ballpark. I see them look around, and they come right up to the press box to say hi, take a photo. Dagnabbit, it's fun. And I actually wrote this. I didn't get to any really of the comments that I wanted to the notes that I had written down because other things were coming up. I didn't even get to the thing with Scruffy about the Canadian men's soccer coach getting crapped on by everybody in this country, or a lot, for saying they were the better team in their 3-0 loss to Morocco on Saturday. Who cares? Why are we getting so hung up on all of that? But on Saturday, the July 4th game, which means a lot to us, where they play both national anthems and the U.S. players go nuts. We had the special Thomas Soto hot dog that was marketed by our team president in honor of our star shortstop from Round Rock, Texas, Thomas Soto. I'm going to be having this for the rest of my life. Can you imagine a hot dog grilled with salsa on it, cheese, and crushed Doritos? Joey Chestnut had nothing on me on Saturday, which, by the way, he did win. Was it his 16th Nathan's hot dog eating contest? He ate 66 hot dogs on Saturday at Coney Island. And, how was that guy thin? And then the lady, the Asian lady from Tampa Bay, she won it again. The women's, she had like 43 hot dogs. Come on, you're like me going, where are they? Especially her. She's just a wee bitty thing. Where are they putting it? So anyways, it was a fantastic weekend. It's been a fantastic start to the week. And I guess while we're sitting here, I'll answer your questions because this probably won't come up tomorrow when Mark Treston's on with us, the former offensive coordinator of the Oakland Raiders, who was asked to come on the show. Yeah. The star-studded lineup lately of guests. Anyways, Brent in the Bridge City says, and I mentioned this earlier, he says, Rod, had you heard Alan Jackson is retiring from touring? That doesn't mean anything to me. Of course I've heard it. I'm a country music guy. He's right in my wheelhouse. I've seen everybody. I saw him at Crave It. He's great, but I don't believe it. I was very upset. I want to say it was 2011. George Strait's last show was going to be in San Antonio, Texas. My cousin Robin went, and it was June 10th. It was the day before day one of Rough Riders training camp. I'm like, how am I going to get from San Antonio, Texas on the Saturday to training camp? Looking back, I should have just gone, but I didn't go to the concert because I felt I couldn't miss day one of training camp on a Sunday, so I didn't go. George Strait's last show. I think he's playing somewhere tonight. Thank God I didn't go to that. So Alan Jackson has not done his last show. Write it down. I'm more confident of that than I am of Bruce Cassidy coaching the Edmonton Oilers. That scoop, which I had a call this morning from an agent, and we talked about this. And I just said, I'd heard Cassidy was going to Edmonton. He goes, he was. Everybody knew that until the Golden Knights blocked it, and the Oilers couldn't wait. Pivoted, and the owner wanted Mike Babcock. And I said, okay, well, that makes more sense. They'll probably go win the Stanley Cup now. And he burst out laughing, basically saying they probably will. Producer Corey, what's happening on time here? Have you been talking to me? Because I can't hear you. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, so Mark Trestman tomorrow, the former offensive coordinator of the Raiders, head coach of the Chicago Bears, and Scruffy as well. It'll be big fun. We'll see you tomorrow here on the RP Show.
Dad.